Nepal, on the other hand, so relaxed, aren't we? We're just a little bit too relaxed for our own good, I feel. It would be really great to actually find a middle line here. One where you're not completely, totally ruled by the clock, where you're rushing, where you're stressed. And then the other would be to bring ourselves a little bit up from being way too relaxed to actually, make use of the time given to us and to do something useful, productive, rather than saying, bholi garyo halumla ni, bholi garumla.
Rocking Mama to Real Mama, Mamta B.
London, buzzing all the time with tourists from every part of the world. It's a great city. There's so many things that you can see. Enjoy architecture. You can see the roads, the beautiful landscapes. But yeah, there's so many things that you love about it, and there's so many things that you wish wouldn't be that way. They're talking about all of the, busyness of the big city. The other thing is, of course, it's very expensive. And while you do have a budget for everything, it's, your mind, if you're thinking in Nepali rupees and spending in pounds, it's so expensive. I think it's the 8th most expensive country in the world. And I don't know, sometimes when I look at all the posh areas, the big high-rise buildings, I just wonder, how can people afford to be living here? Because the rent, housing, it's extremely, extremely expensive. Even the food, when you eat outside in a restaurant and you top it up with some drinks, there goes your budget. So in a way, I'm pretty happy coming back home. Don't have to be spending in pounds anymore. You tend to appreciate your local vegetable seller who comes and gives you, cucumber for 120 rupees, and you still want to bargain for that? Yeah, these travels abroad, they kind of change you a little bit for a while. And obviously, after some time, you go back to being your own self, wherever you are. But I don't know, coming back here, you feel everything is so relaxed. In fact, a little too relaxed for our own good. I think the wise thing would be trying to find a balance between the two, of not being so extremely busy and dictated by the watch 24/7, and not being just way too relaxed that you don't value time, you don't appreciate time, and, you don't worry that it is passing you by and that you should be able to make the most of what is given to you during the day or during any time that you are supposed to be working. So there's a fine line there, and somehow if we are able to find the middle point between the two, that would be ideal, right? Of course. But who lives in an ideal world? Everything is different according to the city that you live in. Everything changes accordingly, the lifestyle. And yeah, coming back here, I realize I can do so many things in one day because they're all in close proximity. It's not like having to travel 2 hours to get from one place to another. Meeting people here is so much more easier because you live closer by. And talking to people talk to you. They smile at you. At least you have a conversation wherever you go. There's just so much more life here, as in terms of being human, if that sounds about right. When you are there in the busy world and you're not noticed by anybody, nobody cares. You can just fall on the street and hopefully somebody will call the emergency. But other than that, you're totally by yourself. So sometimes that can feel a bit lonely and daunting. But then if you live long in that lifestyle, you kind of get used to that. And then coming back to a country like Nepal, where everybody's talking and buzzing and wanting to connect, and can get so bothersome, because that's what happened when I was asking some friends who have lived there long enough, when they want to come back to Nepal, what do they feel? And they were like, yeah, everything's nice going back to Nepal, but after a few days it gets really tiring because everybody's asking so many questions about this, about that. How much are you earning? Where do you live? How much does the rent cost? How much is the salary? Everything. People want to know every minute detail of this, and I'm not ready to share. And quite rightly so, because you're not in the habit of doing that anymore. Whereas for us, going from a country like Nepal, we're so used to talking, and you go to some other place like that where nobody bothers about you, nobody cares. And that can feel a bit, like I said earlier, a bit lonely. But all in all, it's good to be back home. Traveling does a world of good to anybody. You tend to understand people better, and you experience and you appreciate other cultures, other traditions, other lifestyles. At the same time, it also makes you value home. It also makes you miss home, and in doing so, you actually come to appreciate home. The warmth, the comfort, and that sense of belonging.
It's FM 91.2.